So in today's video, we are going to take on the task of rebuilding Manchester United in Football Manager 2023. As you guys know, in real life, Eric Ten Hag took over this season. Didn't really start off too well. Slowly dragged the team back up again. Started implementing a few changes around the squad. So in the game, it appears that he didn't really find his feet, because when I took over, we were sitting at 15th place, and I took over halfway through the season. Well, not halfway through the season, but December the 12th. So the formation I'm going to use during the save is a 4-3-3 DM wide. We are going to be attacking in terms of our mentality. And as you can see, we use an advanced forward, 2 inverted wingers, 2 advanced playmakers in the middle, 1 deep line playmaker behind them. But for Casemiro, we make exceptions. He's a ball-winning midfielder that supports. We have 2 central defenders that are ball-playing defenders. And then we have 2 wing-backs on both sides and a sweeper keeper. So attacking width is fairly wide. Our approach play, we pass into space. We have overlapping runners on either side. We play out from the back. Our directness is slightly more direct. In terms of our tempo, is higher. We also work the ball into the box in the final third. We play for set pieces sometimes. We do have good corner kick takers, free kick takers. So sometimes I toggle it, sometimes I don't. But we can get away with having it on for now, because like I said, we have good dead ball takers. In terms of dribbling, we run at the defenders, and our creative freedom is be more expressive. So in transition, we counter press and counter attack. The distribution type is short kicks, and we don't want him to distribute the ball further than the flanks or the playmaker in the center. But we do prefer him to distribute to the fullbacks and centre backs. But yeah, it is what it is. He can basically choose what he wants to do. Just don't go beyond the flanks or the playmakers. I don't really care. Just don't waste possession unnecessarily unless you have to clear your lines. In transition, we do play with a higher line of engagement, high press line. Yeah, in terms of our defensive line is standard. We also prevent the goalkeepers from distributing the ball. We trigger the press more often, and we stop crosses. So that's our crossing engagement, because we play with Martinez at the back. He is short on the game. It's not like real life. They're not going to predict that a short guy could actually put up a fight against tall players. So he is a bit of a hindrance this year on Football Manager. So we need to try and nullify as many crosses as possible, because that is one of our weak links in terms of our defending. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our tactics. Like I said, we are going to be tweaking it as we go along during the save. But for now, I feel like, yeah, these guys could definitely put in a shift using my style of play. And obviously, it will get better as I start to get the personnel that fits the entire philosophy. So this time around on FM23, because this is my first FM23 video, this is probably the only time I'm going to mention it. But they've added a few new features, and this is one of my favorite ones. So the supporters have their own feedback section, and it's actually highlighted, and it's actually quite important. It does have an effect on how the board views you sometimes, especially if their views are their feedback aligns and their vision aligns. But often or not, with the United fan base, it never aligns with the board. As you can see here, there's not much expectation from the board compared to the supporters. And as you can see, they just want me to play entertaining football, attacking football. I'm not too sure why they want me to play counter-attacking football. I think they're a bit too used to Oli and Mourinho and all of them guys. But I'm going to show them something different. In terms of the other expectations, they want me to become the most reputable team in England, the world, and in Europe, which is actually a tough task. It's a favored expectation. It's not that important, but this one's a more preferred one, which is actually something I'm more likely to achieve within a year or so. I'm just backing myself. But yeah, they just want me to be competitive with Liverpool, City, finish above Leeds. Quite petty, but I love it. We did finish above Leeds, for those who want to know, and also qualify for Europa League, which we definitely went beyond this season. So we're going to talk a bit about my squad. So with my squad, I did struggle with them at first, because my team cohesion and club atmosphere was on red. As you guys already know, if you start off with no experience as a coach, no one knows you in the footballing world, they're not going to respect you. So my managerial support was really low. We just about got up to average towards the end of the season. So the next important thing I want to talk to you guys about before we actually get to the nitty-gritty of the video, yeah, Bruno Fernandes, he's got the most minutes to his name across all competition, 4,473 minutes, which is good for someone that is a star player. We're definitely getting our money's worth in terms of the wages we're paying him and the minutes we're getting back. But players such as Maguire is a worry. He's on 200k per week and he only played 751 minutes. So Ten Hag didn't favour him and I didn't favour him. So I might have to move him on in the summer. If he does have a good preseason, we'll give him one more season or maybe half a season. Yeah, it's not looking too good for the likes of Maguire. Wan-Bissaka, it's kind of the same with him. Martial, he's just over 1,000 minutes, so we definitely need to monitor him going forward in the future. Is there another player? Fred, his contract's running out. Tuanzebe's contract's running out, so we don't mind that as well. Also, we're going to allow CR7 to run his contract down, so yeah, we're going to find a replacement for him in the market, but not someone to actually replace Rashford in the first team, but someone that could work underneath Rashford and Martial potentially. But yeah, the squad's looking quite good. We are going to talk a bit about the addition, which was Devin Wrench. He only played about 451 minutes. I won't lie to you. So far, he's looking like a flop signing, but he was someone that I brought in as a right back to actually push the low. I thought because he had decent potential, that he was actually going to do well. It's only been pretty much 3-4 months that he's been here, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him. So as you can see with Devin Wrench, he didn't cost me too much. The maximum cost is going to be 13.75. The minimum cost is going to be 10.75, but the cost so far is 11.75. But yeah, he's pretty much like the Malacia deal. You can either get a player that's going to hit the ground running or someone that's going to take time to actually be implemented into your squad. I think he's going to be the latter. Simply because he didn't have enough time to gel into the squad. We was in the middle of a toxic season because we were still trying to turn it around. And yeah, I just didn't give him time to actually gel into the side before I started playing him. So his confidence is probably shot, but we're going to give him a full preseason, try to get him integrated into the squad, and we can monitor his progression at the end of next season. So I mentioned earlier, Manchester United was sitting in 15th place when I took over. So as you can see, we finished 5th place and we just about missed out on top 4 just by 1 point to Aston Villa and Arsenal as well, just by 1 point to both, which is quite heartbreaking now that I'm looking at it again. So we missed out to 2 teams just by 1 point. If only we didn't lose to Bournemouth. But yeah, as you can see, Marcus Rashford, he was the top goal scorer in the league. So we were definitely putting up a great fight in the league towards the end of the season, but we just slipped. We just couldn't get over the line. So the only other way we was going to qualify for the Champions League was through the Europa League, and that's exactly what we ended up having to do. We ended up beating Benfica 3-2 in the final of the Europa League. We can just load this up. As you can see, we used a 4-2-3-1 formation because at this point my confidence was really low. I didn't really have faith in my players, like with the 4-3-3 formation, so I went in with this one. I even shifted Rashford to the left and used Ronaldo up front. He played badly, but we ended up winning. That's all that really matters. So yeah, as you can see as well, we won the Carabao Cup. So we've got 2 trophies within 6 months, and yeah, we dragged United from 15th place to 5th. So I'll say it's a successful first 6 months. It's not the best, but it's the best case scenario if I'm honest with you. So we're going to talk a bit about our transfers now. So the future transfers, this player joining us in like 3 days time, Abner Vinicius. He's a wing back that plays in the Brazilian league. He doesn't have high potential. He isn't that great currently. However, he is someone that definitely would be able to fit into my system. I don't mind signing like system players. I don't need world beaters or like players that are really good or world class. Whatever tag you want to put on a player. They don't need to be that or be the creme de la creme for me to actually get the best out of them. So signings like this, you're probably going to see a lot of it during my rebuilds. But yeah, I feel like this guy, if we can basically nurture him, because he is coming from the Brazilian league, it's going to take him time to adapt. The reason why I brought him in really early as well, so he can get a full preseason under his belt, have time to gel with his new teammates, and yeah, I can get to know how this guy plays during the course of the preseason. So when we ease him into the campaign and throw him into cup games in the Carabao Cup, we know that he can actually put in a shift. Yeah, I'm not regretting this deal whatsoever. If I show you how much I paid for him, 925k, and it can potentially rise up to 5.25 million. So it kind of reminds me of Patrice Evra to Manchester United. When Ferguson first picked him up, people questioned Evra. They didn't know who he was. Same with Vidic. And yeah, lo and behold, at some point, Evra became our club captain, or he captained us numerous times, and he put in really good performances year in, year out. And the second deal that I want to talk to you guys about is the Maxence Cucurella one, where we put in a 4.8 million bid up front. Obviously, there's add-ons and installments, so it's going to rise up to 18.5 million. But the deal's agreed with the player and the club, so he's going to be joining us in 3 days' time as well. So yeah, the reason why I signed him is because I want to use him as a deep line playmaker. We still have Casemiro, and I still consider Casemiro as my first choice CDM, even though he's not a deep line playmaker. But I want to give Cucurella some time to ease himself into the league, ease himself into the team, and get used to my tactics. So he's going to be, for the first season, the second choice CDM. If he does really well in the first season, we could probably give him way more game time in the season after that, and then eventually he's going to take over the spot of Casemiro. That's the plan, that's the vision with this player. I feel like he's good enough to spray passes around, he's good enough defensively, he can put in tackles, marking is a part of being good enough defensively. I don't need to talk about that even further. We do want to work on his balance though, and a few other things, but yeah, we'll see how he gets on. We'll do a bit of a review on my signings at the end of the video as well. Okay, so we're in this section because we need to talk about our squad depth. We haven't included a lot of players simply because I don't really have faith in them just yet. So I haven't really included them for my next season's plans, and I'm not going to do so until we finish the preseason. But as you can see, we are lacking a bit in the defensive department. Maguire, again, I'm not too sure if I'm going to move him on. Twanzibi's leaving. And yeah, we'll probably need to bring in one centre-back, at least one centre-back. So with the goalkeeping situation, Dean Henderson's going to be back from his loan, but we are going to look to move that guy on. Tom Heaton, we're going to keep him as obviously one of the morale kind of guys, fair choice keeper, morale, in terms of our first choice goalkeeper though, I am going in for a keeper. I have been searching. I've looked at Bonu from Sevilla. I've looked at Costa from Porto. I looked at Lafont from Nantes. Lafont's quite terrible in this game, if I'm honest with you. But I was definitely in for him, and then I saw a certain attribute. I think it was his distribution. It wasn't that great, so I thought, no, let's not go in for him. But in other areas, we definitely need to bolster is advanced playmakers, the advanced playmaking role. So we do need an extra body or two. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try promote a youth player. So maybe Hannibal can be promoted into the first team next season. See how he gets on. If it doesn't go well, just loan him out again. But we are going to look to find an advanced playmaker that could potentially take over from where Eriksen is, and maybe push Van der Beek out of that spot as well. Left wing is up for debate. Garnacho could have a good preseason, so could Elanga, and my thoughts on the left wing situation might change. The right wing though, we definitely need to address it because Pelistri, I don't really trust him that much, so I'm going to remove him. I'm not too sure why he was there in the first place. Diallo, we need to loan him out again, so he's not going to be there for next season. That leaves us with Jadon Sancho, who's really going to be operating on the left-hand side mainly. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for a first-team right winger that can be second choice to Anthony for now, and maybe push Anthony a bit. We're not going to get someone that's completely dead, but I want someone that can push Anthony a bit but know their role. Like Anthony needs to be the first choice right winger. With the striking position, I'm quite fine with Rashford and Martial, but we do need a third choice striker. Maybe a young player coming up from the youth academy, maybe another body coming in from the market, but it's not going to be a player that's going to push either of these guys out of their spot. It's going to be someone that's going to be like an apprentice, someone that's going to take a bit from Rashford's game, take a bit from Martial's game, and learn and be under their wing. But yeah, if I left something out or key things to mention in the intro, well, this ain't the intro, but for the first segment of this video, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, I pretty much covered future targets and the areas that were lacking in terms of depth, and you guys should get a rough idea of what I'm probably going to be in the hunt for in the summer window. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the preseason, bring in the new faces, whether that's staff members, players, try to get the board to fix a lot of the facilities, get a lot of stuff done, complete the season, and then we're going to do a review and see how Manchester United got on. Okay, so we're back and it's the end of season 2023-2024, and we're going to talk about the players that ended up leaving our club. So as you can see, we ended up selling Aaron Wan-Bissaka to a league-owned side. He went to Rennes for 16.5 million. Phil Jones, he ended up going to Hamburg for 1.3 million. In the very next season, we also sold Bailey for 8.5 million, which was a part of his loan deal. So I think it was a mandatory fee being paid. Harry Maguire, he expressed how much he didn't enjoy being at the club anymore because of the lack of game time, and we ended up moving him on to AC Milan for 23 million. Luke Shaw was trying to run down his contract, so he cashed in around January for 10 million. He went to Atletico Madrid. Alex Telles, he's also gone to Aston Villa for 10 million as well. So CR7 ended up leaving that very summer, and he went on a free to Chelsea, where he played about 32 games in the league, scored only 5 goals and got himself 3 assists. In all competitions, he got about 38 appearances. I think he started 2, and he came off the bench 36 times, which is quite weird. But yeah, he complained about being on the bench at United. But yeah, he only scored 5 goals and got himself 4 assists. So when it came to Ronaldo, I feel like we made the right decision simply because he hasn't gone on to do great things at another club, and he was given at least 38 opportunities to do so. And I feel like we definitely made strides without him. We're going to talk a bit about that in just a few moments' time. So as you can see, these were the players that I bought in. So Max's Cucurella got confirmed. Vinicius got confirmed. This is a youth player that I just signed for the youth team. And then we had Marcos Leonardo. So Marcos Leonardo, he plays for Santos in real life. I think he's like 19 in real life as well, but we are like a season or 2 ahead. But yeah, in my save, he's currently 21. He's playing at a 2.5 star current ability. His potential could go up to 4 stars. With Marcos Leonardo, we did have to like basically usher him into the team. So he didn't get a lot of games, a lot of starts in the league. He got about 19. He bagged himself 6 goals and got 3 assists and got an average rating of a 7.07. In terms of his overall performance in his first season, he had about 19 appearances starting, 15 off the bench. He also got himself 18 goals and 7 assists in all competitions with a 7.20 average rating. So we're going to talk about Max's Cucurella as well. As you can see, he had about 39 starts with 13 appearances off the bench with a 6.83 average rating. So he had a decent season as well. It's only his first season. We're not going to pile on too much pressure on some of these players that we just brought in. Abner Vinicius, he's the one that caught me off guard as well. He had a brilliant season. As you can see, he bagged himself about 29 starts in all competitions and 12 appearances off the bench. He got an average rating of 7 in all competitions as well. And he also scored himself a goal and got 3 assists. So after having a so-so introduction to his career at United, Wrench, he kind of made a few improvements in the second season. We did have more time to actually play him, so he got about 17 appearances in the league. He got an average rating of 6.81 as well in all competitions. He started about 13 times and came off the bench 16 times. And he also got an average rating of a 6.84 as well. So again, another player that I brought in, he didn't really hit the ground running, but he's kind of gelled himself into the squad, and he is quite a useful squad player, if I'm honest with you. And that brings us to the extra signings on top of those ones as well, because we did have an overhaul. So we brought in Arsene Zakarian from Dynamo Moscow. However, we loaned him back because we do have a few bodies in that position, or in the position he plays. He can play off the left and he can play as a cam. I am going to be deploying him as a central midfielder, and he's going to be an advanced playmaker in my system. But yeah, he didn't get too many games out on loan, which was quite frustrating because there's no point of loaning a player back unless they're going to feature heavily in your squad. So for Kyle Tomori, we got a good deal on him, if I'm honest with you. AC Milan, we managed to sign him. We didn't pay all of the 40 million up front. It's obviously an installment package, and then add-ons obviously takes it up to 48 million from 40 million. And we had a similar situation with Ivan Toney, where we had to pay about, say, 15, 20 million up front. And then the installments obviously came about, and then yeah, the add-ons were piled on top. But yeah, these signings were actually crucial for my season, because for Kyle Tomori, he came in, he was supposed to be like a third choice centre back, because I was going with a Varane and Martinez partnership going into the season. But somehow, for Kyle Tomori, found himself in the first team week in, week out, pushing out Martinez effectively. So as you can see here, he played about 28 games in the Premier League. Got average rating of 7.17. He got player of the match once. In terms of all competitions, he got about 38 starts, 6 appearances off the bench, and he got average rating of 7.12. And as you can see, his passing accuracy, his passing percentage is quite good for the season as well. It's 89% for all competitions. And I do play out of the back, so that statistic there is quite important for me. But I know Martinez has a higher, I think his one's like 91% or 90%. Very, very very fine lines between the two. So the issue that I had with finding a goalkeeper to replace David De Gea is that moving David De Gea on wasn't easy. I didn't want to sell him cheaply, and then on top of that, we couldn't find anyone that could immediately come in and do the same job as David De Gea, and if not better. If there was a player that could do that, it was only Dean Henderson. And anyone that I found in the market, either they wanted a lot of money for the player, or the player wanted a lot of money per week because of the agent. So yeah, I had a lot of issues with agents and also squad time, like squad roles and stuff like that, playing time, I should say. And I just couldn't find anyone that was adequate enough to take the spot in between the sticks. So what I ended up doing is I kept David De Gea, kept Dean Henderson. We got Dean Henderson to accept that he was only going to feature in cup games. David De Gea, he was happy to be the first choice keeper and take a wage cut. As you can see, we dropped him all the way down to 225k per week. And we also extended his contract. So his contract ends at the end of next season. So that should buy us some time into basically developing our new goalkeeper. So our new goalkeeper, we signed him at the age of 18, if I'm correct. That's Andre Gomez. Andre Gomez from Benfica. So as you can see, we only paid 7.5 million up front, and then that's going to rise up to 14.5 million due to add-ons, etc. But as you can see, this guy, I won't say the sky's the limit for him. We did sign him, and most of his stats look bang average. But if you given the fact that a lot of goalkeepers are late bloomers, and we do have two good goalkeepers in front of him, he definitely should have enough time to develop into a first choice goalkeeper eventually. But so far, everything's promising. He's had a good first season in the under 21s, because that's the level we had him playing at. He had about 21 appearances there, only conceded 13 goals, got 14 clean sheets as well. So yeah, like I said, the sky isn't the limit for him, but he does have a lot of potential. So last but not least, we're going to talk about Ivan Toney. So we signed Ivan Toney from Brentford in January, so 7th of January to be exact. The reason why we signed him was because Martial, he basically popped up to me saying that he wants to leave at the end of his contract, and he felt like he achieved a lot at Manchester United. So we went straight into the market. We didn't play around. We were pretty much continued our same format in terms of going into the market. We were ruthless, and we moved quite quick. And we managed to negotiate a deal with Brentford where we paid around, I think, 20 to 15 million up front, and then installments will come into it, and then add-ons will come into play as well. So 32.5 million, and it's going to rise up to 35 million. That's how much we paid for the 28-year-old striker. So how did he get on? He got about 11 appearances for us in the league and 11 goals, 1 assist, 3 player of the match awards, and also ended the season with a 7.69 average rating. In all competitions, he started about 7 times and came off the bench 13, and he got 18 goals and 2 assists and ended the season with a 7.65 average rating. So I would say that's a successful first 6 months as a Manchester United striker. He also accepted the role as a backup striker to Rashford, who's been playing really good as well. So he's an impact sub, and that's exactly what he was. Like, he literally came off the bench and always made an impact. Bagged braces. On the odd occasion, he scored hat-tricks as well. And I felt like he was well suited to playing European football. He didn't really need too much time to adapt. He came straight into the team and actually done the business. And he normally plays as a pressing forward, but we molded him into an advanced forward because he did have a lot of attributes that did support him playing that role. And he didn't really bat an eye up front. He was always clinical. Okay, so we're going to swiftly move on to our backroom team now. So as you can see, we did make a few changes. Before, it was McLaren and Van der Gaag. I think that's the assistant manager's name for Ten Hag. But we got rid of those two and we replaced them with Nicky Butt. As you guys already know from FM22, I like having Nicky Butt as an assistant manager. In terms of our head of youth development, before it was Nick Cox, we replaced him with Pep. He's a Spanish head of youth development, and he's 62 years of age. Look at his judging player ability, judging player potential, and working with youngsters. This guy, he's definitely the right type of basic personality to have. As you can see, He's a model professional. So yeah, in terms of the rest of the coaches though, we did bring in like more well-rounded coaches. This guy, he can pretty much do everything and anything. So if we wanted to have him on possession modules or attacking or defending sessions, he could do the lot. But we have coaches that are very specific, like Helena Costa. I only really trust her to coach the possession-based sessions. As you can see as well, we kept Darren Fletcher, but he's not a technical director, so we're gonna get into that as well. Performance analyst team, we did change it up a bit as well. We also added Jordi Melero to the team, and we also got a new head of performance analyst, Raul Peleas from Barcelona. As you can see, analyzing data is 19, determination 14, judging player ability 16, and tactical knowledge is 18. So all of those attributes are really key if you are going in for a new head of performance analyst. So always look out for their ability to analyze data and their tactical knowledge. That's the most important thing. So yeah, onto the technical director. So as you can see, we replaced Darren Fletcher with Gabriel Oriali. This was like a 1 to 2 year gig for him. We only bought him temporarily just to buy some time, because I feel like there's going to be more technical directors that spawn on my save that are going to be much better than him. But he did a really good job because, yeah, he had to fix a lot of issues that Darren Fletcher caused within my first 6 months. Because Darren Fletcher was bringing in a lot of poor staff members for the under 18s and the under 21s. I put him in charge of that, and yeah, he did butcher it, especially with the medical staff as well. He'll bring in like a sports scientist, and the sports science ability is like 9. Like, make it make sense, bro. You're Manchester United. You're meant to bring in the best of the best, or the best that's like available. But this guy was bringing in scrubs, not to be rude. So we spoke about the technical director, and now it's time to talk about the director of football. Before, it was John Murtagh. In the middle of the season, we did change it because I realized John Murtagh was really piss poor at his job. When it came to negotiating deals for us, his stats was on 10. I think his negotiating stat was on 10. And yeah, we're getting ripped off in a lot of deals that we did delegate to him. So if we had like a striker that had high demands, if he didn't budge, he probably ran us up the wall or got more money out of us, because John Murtagh wasn't experienced at doing deals. Whereas Sandro Orlandelli, we haven't really delegated anything to him just of yet, because we haven't really gone into the market since the change of the director of football. But I feel like we're going to be a bit more comfortable delegating stuff to him, simply because he's got better negotiating ability. And his judging, playability, and potential actually comes into an effect as well when it comes to like sorting out the whole scouting network, because he's kind of in charge of that as well. So he does all the scouting meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, he's definitely more effective as a director of football. Okay, so where did we finish? That's the important thing. So as you can see, we restored our reputation in England, I would say, in England as the top team. So Manchester United, we won the league. 38 games played, and we won 31, drew 6, and lost 1. And that was against Nottingham Forest, a 2-1 defeat away from home. And we racked up 99 points, 20 more points than the team that was second, and that was Liverpool, last season's champions. So that felt really great, getting one back on Liverpool, because they did match the league title record. Before it was 20, now it's 21 because of us. But yeah, Manchester City, they also sacked Pep Guardiola. He had a shocking season, finished third, and didn't rack up nearly as much points as he's used to racking up, only 68 points. So I feel really good. Not only I knocked Liverpool off the pedestal, we also got the other manager sacked as well, because we bled the league dry. Domestic competitions, we did quite well, and sometimes we played against City and knocked them out. So yeah, we just made it harder for City to be successful, which led to the sacking of Pep Guardiola. So yeah, I'm kind of celebrating getting another man sacked. From the first season, my first season, we pretty much carried our good form into the next season. We had a good pre-season and a fantastic start to the season. We also won the Super Cup against Real Madrid. We beat them 4-2. As you can see, in the league, we kind of dropped points against the big sides, like the teams that are in the so-called Big Six. We drew those 2 games, but after that, after the summer window, we picked ourselves back up and started obliterating teams. Not directly obliterating them, but in terms of form, we were beating them and racking up points. In the Champions League, we did get a tough group. We were grouped with Atletico Madrid, also FC Cologne and Napoli. Let me just find a way to get this Group G up. Press the wrong thing. Yeah, as we can see, we did blitz the group as well. We only drew 1 game and won 5. We didn't lose any at all. We bagged about 18 goals and only conceded 2. So we were quite dominant as well. As you can see, got a few key performances. Leonardo scored a couple goals as well. He also got himself a hat-trick against FC Cologne. So we were playing really well in Europe, and obviously that form, it maintained itself during the course of the season. So if I just filter all of these out, and then we just take a look at Champions League, we did go the distance in the Champions League as well. We won the Champions League actually. We beat Liverpool 2-1 in the final, but as you can see, this is the path that we took. So if you want to take a look at the results, just pause the video. We did have a tough path to the final after, I would say, the round of 16. We played against Arsenal and Real Madrid, and effectively we made it through to the final and beat Liverpool. Okay, so I mentioned that we did well in the Champions League. In the FA Cup, we didn't do too well. If I'm honest with you, we underperformed heavily. We lost 3-1 to Leeds United, which angered a lot of the United fans. But yeah, we made it to the 5th round. We made a good showing of ourselves at the earlier stages. We did rotate the side quite a lot. We had a few fringe players banging in goals, such as Leonardo. But yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. So on the other hand, in the Carabao Cup, we did retain that trophy because we won it in the previous season. If I could just quickly show you. Yeah, we won it 2-1. We beat Everton in the final 2-1, and we beat Everton in the final again 2-1. So I actually forgot we played Everton last season as well. That's actually quite sad. My memory is actually quite piss poor when I'm ill. But yeah, when it comes to like this pathway, we did have it easier than usual. And yeah, Leicester City, I thought Leicester City was going to be a lot harder to play against. In the first leg, we did batter them. So in the second leg, when we did draw against them, it wasn't too much of an issue. We did find ourselves 2 goals down, and we ended up pulling things back really late on. Jadon Sancho brought it back, and Rashford came off the bench to actually get the equaliser. I think Ivan Toney had a stinker in that game. Let me check. I think he did have a stinker. It was either Ivan Toney or Leonardo. Oh, it was Leonardo. Leonardo was on the pitch, and then we had to bring on Rashford. Yeah, I remember this game. It made me realize Diallo definitely needed a loan out. Okay, so guys, just to quickly show you guys, the tactics remain pretty much the same from the start of the video. I didn't tweak anything. I didn't change much. We did go from, I think it was a positive to attacking again. No, we was on attacking before. Yeah, because I did fluctuate during the course of the season. I went from ultra attacking to positive to attacking again. So yeah, I got a bit confused. We was on attacking initially. But yeah, like I said at the start of the video, for certain games, we are going to go a bit more attacking. Sometimes we're a bit more conservative because we have to be a bit more wary of certain opposition. But yeah, for the most of the season, we did use an attacking style of play. In terms of our data hub, let's quickly take a look at that because that's quite important. Our general performance in the league. So as you can see, we bagged about 2.53 goals per game. Our expected goals per game was 2.331. So we did exceed our target. In terms of conceded per game, it was 0.71. Expected goals against per game was 1.18. And it also is a decrease from last season as well, because last season I think it was about 1.12. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing what I showed you guys earlier on in the video. However, our pass completion ratio dropped as well, and that is not a good thing because before it was on 82%. Again, I'm guessing again, but right now it's on 78. I just know that it dropped. That's the main thing that we need to basically establish, that it dropped from a positive number. As you can see, our dribbles per game increased as well. Before it was on 14 point something, now it's on 18.18. Team defending, yeah, we already covered that as well. But yeah, pretty much the whole sentiment of the data hub is to show you guys that we pretty much maintain our attacking intent and also maintain our defensive ability as well, because yeah, we managed to get that to drop, and we also increased our attacking output. So our chance conversion rate is a lot higher from compared to last season. So I feel like in that department we can pat ourselves on the back, and I feel like we made good strides in terms of the style of football that we wanted to play, and we did impose ourselves. As you can see, we done the treble, we won the Carabao Cup, won the league by a landslide, and we also won the European trophy that Manchester United haven't won since 2008. So yeah, like I said, we can give ourselves a pat on the back for that. So now what I want to do is talk about player stats. So yeah, Marcus Rashford, he had a really good season. He got about 49 goals in all competitions and 4 assists. So that's 53 goal involvements in 34 games starting and 9 as a substitute. And he did rack up a lot of minutes during the course of the season. So he racked up about 3,066 minutes altogether. Finished the season with an average rating of 7.62. And yeah, this guy, he was actually unplayable. In the final, we did move him off to the left, but he played most of his games, I would say about 90% plus down the middle. And yeah, it was really effective in replacing Ronaldo. And yeah, his numbers just really speaks for itself. As you can see, Ivan Toney contributed, Leonardo contributed to goals, and so did Anthony. Anthony had a spectacular season. He also broke the record for the most assists in the league campaign. Well, on the game, it was about 13. He got about 15 altogether, so the new record is 15. So yeah, hats off to Anthony, breaking records in his second season at Manchester United. Jadon Sancho, I feel like I revived his career. As you can see, his attacking output is actually immaculate. 16 goals and 14 assists. So that's about, the math is easy, 30 goal involvements in about 44 starts and 4 appearances off the bench. He actually ended the season with a 7.25 average rating as well. A lot of players, they kind of revived their careers under my management. Alanga, we didn't revive his career, but he actually has blossomed into a good squad player that's very adequate in replacing Sancho whenever he's out or too tired. Bruno Fernandes, he actually couldn't keep up with the bar that he set for himself in the previous season. So as you can see, he ended this season with a 6.98 average rating, only 10 assists and 5 goals. So yeah, the stat pattern has stopped now that he's in the actual system, and also relying on the rest of the team as well. Donny van der Beek definitely made massive improvements. Last season, I was quite worried that he was going to fall down the pecking order and we was going to have to sell him, but he stepped up this season. We also promoted Hannibal into the first team. He got a lot of appearances, 17 starting, 15 off the bench, got himself 3 goals and 1 assist, or 4 goal involvements, which is decent. Ended the season with a 6.87 average rating. Definitely a good breakout season for him. I mean, yeah, because it's his first season, he doesn't really have a bar that's set, so pretty much any sort of output that's positive is gonna be good for him. So Ethan Laird, we did speak about Wrench earlier on. He was meant to come in to challenge the Low. What ended up happening was the Low, he got a lot of injuries, and then we ended up having to use Ethan Laird. And Ethan Laird, he went from being someone to come in to fill in the boots of the Low to someone that became a mainstay. As you can see, he racked up about 35 appearances and 13 off the bench, 35 starting. He got about 5 assists as well, and he racked up 2,970 minutes. So it remains consistent with the whole youth thing. We did say at the start of the video, we did pretty much want to promote youth players into the first team, and this guy is a good example of that, him and Hannibal, but this guy especially, because he pushed the Low out of his first choice spot, and now the Low is pretty much our second choice right back. Wrench is our third choice right back. But yeah, it just goes to show, yeah, my saves, you just don't really know what to expect. You don't know what to expect, especially when it comes to the likes of McTominay. Like McTominay, he wanted to leave just before January, but then I kind of doubled down and I gave him more game time, and on top of that, I turned him into a deep line playmaker, and he did give us a lot of good performances as a DLP. As you can see, we got a lot of 6.5s and above. Got a few 7s. But yeah, he was quite effective as a deep line playmaker. Let's see if we can check out his passing percentage. It's 79%, but it could easily be worse. If you guys already know about McTominay's passing range, it could be a lot worse. But we did have a lot of instructions on him to combat his poor passing ability, such as making sure that he only does simple passes. He doesn't do anything too risky, just to like slow down or combat him giving away the ball too much in the middle of the park in really crucial positions. So yeah, the award winners. As you can see, Marcus Rashford got Fan Player of the Season. Young Player of the Season went to Jadon Sancho. Signing of the Season, Ivan Toney. Goal of the Season, Casemiro. Doesn't really state what game that was in, where he got the goal of the season. But yeah, Marcus Rashford, top goal scorer. Most assists goes to Anthony. 23 assists in all comps. 12 Man of the Match awards to Marcus Rashford. highest average rating, Marcus Rashford. Pass completion doesn't really matter because Lindelof, he's also leaving at the end of the season. His contract's running out. We barely played him. That's why he's got such a high passing completion rate. But yeah, the record breakers, as you can see, they're off on the right hand side. The most league goals came was Marcus Rashford. He got 33 goals in the league. Most assists by a player in the season, Anthony. Pretty sure that's not accurate, but in my save, it's accurate. But yeah, the worst discipline was Matson's Cucurella, which is something we do need to work on. We did get a lot of yellow cards, a few red cards here and there. I don't know how to stop players from just flying into silly challenges. And we'll probably have a second video installment as well. So yeah, don't you worry. Hence why we do need to talk about future targets as well. So our main target right now that we're focusing on is someone that everyone's focusing on in real life. And that is Jude Bellingham. Like I said, Casemiro, he does want to move on, and yeah, he didn't really fit my system entirely. We didn't get the best out of Casemiro, but he did do a good job for us. He even ended up being our vice captain. So we appointed Bruno Fernandes as our captain. Casemiro became the vice captain, and he was actually a good person to have in the dressing room. But I feel like the best player to replace him is Jude Bellingham, simply because he can be a good ball winner. If anything, he can be a better ball winner for us. And if we wanted to play him as a deep line playmaker, we could do so as well, and he could be really effective in doing that. And not only on top of that, he is a Glazer type of signing. Like, he's someone that's gonna sell shirts and bring a lot of attraction to Man United because of the type of ability he has and the pedigree he plays with. At the moment, he has an 83 million release clause, and I'm trying to negotiate regular deals with Dortmund, trying to get like installments involved, add-ons. They're not really having a bar of it, so we might have to break the bank in order to get this deal over the line, or maybe wait another season or two. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up. This guy is definitely someone I want to bring in. I could definitely see him making my side 10 times better than it actually is in the middle of the park. We don't have issues with Cucurella, but he does have a few games where he's on and off, and he's hot and it's cold. But that's the process of basically joining a new club. It's only his first season, but if there's going to be someone to come in and battle it out with him for a deep line playmaking role in my squad, it's going to be Jude Bellingham. I don't see McTominay pushing Cucurella next season. Casemiro's going to leave. I can just sense it. But yeah, that's about it for this save so far. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to smash that like button, sub to the channel if you're new. Also check out my other content. I do play FIFA, so I've got 2 saves going on at the moment. We've got Everton, we've got about 2 seasons out. At the time of this recording, we've got a Man United save, we've only got 1 season out. We're in the middle of recording season 2. Sorry for my work rate. I was expecting to upload a lot earlier than I have. However, I did get ill, and a lot of personal life stuff came in between this YouTube stuff that I'm enjoying like doing at the moment. But in terms of like content, we do have a lot of content in the pipeline. Just give me some time to actually record things. I don't know if I'm central. I hope I was central. If I'm not central in the webcam the whole video, then that's just a bit funny because I'm not doing it all again. I'm too ill for all of this. But yeah, we've got a lot of content in the pipeline. Just be on the lookout. Be patient as well. I like to thank you guys already for your patience, but continue to be patient because it's just me doing this. I don't have anyone editing for me, coming up with concepts or ideas. I'm not bouncing ideas off of people. I'm just doing on my ones at the moment, and I barely know what I'm doing, and I'm kind of learning as I go along. Also, give me feedback as well on this video and any other video. Let me know if I'm dragging certain points out. Let me know if I'm leaving things out. Let me know if I'm going too fast with my speech, because I know that's an issue I have. I just speak fast in general, and it does make me slur my words, and not sometimes I don't enunciate, so sometimes things I'm saying, it doesn't sound clear enough on the mic as well, which is something I notice when I edit. But yeah, just give me general feedback. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the actual video. It could be about the way I present myself in the video, like sitting centric to the camera, looking at the camera more. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Let me know if I'm going too slow on certain points, and let me know if I miss anything out, because that's also important as well. I don't really want to come across like I'm rushing things. This is actually me taking my time, which is actually quite funny. But yeah. Again, like I said, thank you for joining us for this video. I hope to see you soon. Take care for now. Peace.